to be able to accommodate all these unexpected changes. Ms. Amara said a lot of very interesting things. I wouldn't want to go into that now, but I will come back into it later, maybe when we take the Q&A. By the way, I'd like you to to keep your questions coming in the chat box. It will interest you to know that at the beginning of the online learning, Ms. Amara, who is a consultant going around schools, as I said, she once sent out this, put this on her social media page, that she was monitoring like 7 online classrooms at the same time. So that's like the minimum. I mean, that's like the minimum I would expect for somebody who is in her position. So you can imagine everybody is competing for this space online, and we still have to prepare this service. I would also like to ask, how many of us are actually in touch with our security men? How many of us have them on our WhatsApp platforms as well? Or we think they're just there and they're by the side? There are a lot of things that we need to take into consideration. She talked also about policies. Another thing happened, a parent was discussing with the school principal yesterday and suggesting for the principal to develop for the children at home a policy guiding internet usage. And I'm like, why does it have to be the principal to do that? Well, because everything is in the hands of the school, you think? Well, true. But at the same time, parents also have to know how to guide their children. We're not talking about parents today, but just to say that there are a lot of policies that we expect schools to put in place. And well, since we are not prepared for this now, I think the future will guide us to prepare better next time. Thank you, Ms. Amara. We'll come back to you later for questions. I'd like us to move on without further ado to the next speaker, and that will be Ms. Ifechi Nwachukwu. I hope I said that right. Okay, Ms. Ifechi, you have 10 minutes. And before that, let me just introduce her. She is the director of OliveHall Preparatory School here in Abuja, in Lugbe. She has over 16 years of multidisciplinary expertise in administration, talent management, curriculum development, and all that. She holds a master's degree in international business from the University of Leeds and a PhD in education. And it is interesting to know that most of us here did not really start with education. Like you can see that she has a degree in estate management. But as it is, she's a driven educator. She's been in this for so long. She has a passion to innovate and to drive results through strategic and children-driven stimulation-based learning. I'm going to welcome Ms. Ifechi now, and I think she's prepared for us. And let's see what she has to talk to us about leveraging education, leveraging technology for education.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ms. Ifechi.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Remy John, for having me, and welcome all our viewers and participants. We appreciate you for taking out time to be here. So I'd like to say thank you very much, Ms. Amara. I learned a lot, this is something that school owners need to think about. Policies for online learning. We usually have policies in our school, but for our online learning, for business continuity, do we have policies? Those are the things that we should also try and put in place as we run our online classes. So on this topic of leveraging technology for educators, I want to say 2 things. We have all been leveraging technology in many ways over the years. Let us not panic, okay? I think we should all take a deep breath and know that we will get through this. I want to tell us 2 stories. I'm sure that most of us that went to school in the 90s can relate to this story that I have to say. First is the story of Mama Nkechi, don't laugh. She was a very neat woman who was reputed to be the fastest and the best in her field. She was warm, she was helpful, she was experienced, and everyone who typed their school project or their exams used her. She was the typist and she had a kiosk by the faculty building. Mama Nkechi charged us a premium for her services, which we were all happy to pay because she knew the layout, she knew the way to make the chapters to be organized and actually delivered on time every time. So we all queued up to use her. Story number 2, the story of Margaret Thatcher. This is not the story about the British stateswoman who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, but this is about our secretary to the head of department. We called her Margaret Thatcher for no reason, just because of a no-nonsense approach to work. So it so happened that every department had to go through an accreditation process. And one of the criteria for a successful outcome was that every department must be computerized. Now you know where these 2 stories of Mama Nkechi and Margaret Thatcher are going to. So we both found out that despite their experience and their well-meaning intentions, their business was being challenged by called computer. So we are here having this discussion because the same fate that befell Mama Nkechi and Margaret Thatcher has befallen us. This pandemic has come to our horizon, looks hazy and is calling for a change, which we are all willing and we are trying to define. I would like to say that one of my favorite books is that I'm also recommending for us educators is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. I don't know if you can put, yes, that's the Who Moved My Cheese. So I'd like to summarize this book here. Simple parable that reveals profound things. It follows the physical and emotional journeys of 4 characters who live in a maze and look for cheese to nourish them and make them happy. In the book, cheese is a metaphor for what we want to have in life, whether it is a good job, whether it's a prosperous school, whether it is a loving relationship, money, possession, anything. So in this case, in this particular scenario, we would like to say a prosperous and relevant for what we want, the organization that we work in, or the family, or the community, and the world we live in. The problem is that no source of cheese lasts forever. Life changes, whether we like it or not. The book actually explores the various ways we can respond to change. And its ultimate conclusion, change is inevitable. We have to anticipate it. The last slide, please. We have to anticipate it, we have to adapt to it, we have to learn to embrace it, and one of the characters in the book deals successfully and writes what he has learned from his experience on the maze walls. So when we see the handwriting on the wall, we can discover for ourselves, that's the end of that. We can discover for ourselves how to deal with change so that we can enjoy less stress and more success. However, we want to define our success in our work and in our life. So what is our reality, ladies and gentlemen? COVID-19 pandemic has moved our cheese, and we must have to decide now how to respond to that. Our children are digital natives. They speak a new language. Google Classroom, Edmondo, Class Dojo, Flipgrid, Google Team, Zoom Party, and as educators, we are literally learning this new language with our children at this time. My 2-year-old, funny enough, they are on the school virtual platform, connecting with their teachers and with other classmates every day. So in other words, I'm at par with a 2-year-old. So imagine in the next 5 years, who will be more digitally relevant? As a teacher, I'm a storyteller, so bear with me. My early memory of banking also was my mother waking up very early to go to get tally from the bank before heading to work, and returning hours later to still queue before withdrawing cash at the bank. Now, 2 young bankers, Fola Diola and his partner Tayo, decided that the way banking was done was inefficient and could be changed by creating pleasant customer and leveraging technology. Bingo! They changed the face of banking system. And some of us here probably does not remember the days of tally number, you know. So some traditional banks then resisted that change, dismissing them, these young and inexperienced bankers, but they are no more in existence. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are the crops of that time now. The conversation that we should be having is we have to knuckle down and engage in this conversation on ways we can leverage on technology at this pivotal time in our reality. We live in a digital world that thrives on the availability of advanced technology. And the technology is designed to improve the way businesses are run, how customers interact with our business. As educators, for us to remain relevant, we need to leverage technology using innovative tools. I'm sure all of us, most of us know them: screencasting, interactive display, mobile technology, all this to expand learning opportunities beyond the school wall. Making connective, so the discussion we should be having now is how these tools can help us to make connective learning anytime, whether the child is in Abuja, whether the child is in London, whether the child is in Brazil. We have to also create innovative products which we can explore using technological tools that help us to have a mixed blend of learning. We need to also create, we need to get our children to create customized learning so that they can learn at their own pace and have collaboration and gain higher engagement. We should also discuss storage systems. One other place I think we need to look at is deploying remote learning for remote working for our admin section. I think it's something that we should look at, and also adopt innovative ways to increase revenue. So I could say that technology has changed everything. It changes everything. It has even changed our language. It changes how we think and how we do things. New words have been added to our vocabularies. Now we talk of social distance, new normal. The entire world has adopted remote learning for this time. Some might say that big dreams need big budgets. How are we going to do this? We do not have the funds. I will say yes. And I will also say no. Because yes, in the fact that deploying hardware of technology may come with some cost elements, and also no. Those are free as we speak now, and they are easily accessible for us. Some people are also saying that yes, we'll all go back to the same how things were. My thoughts are yes, there'll be some normalcy. Normalcy may return, but blended learning is here to stay. So how can we make a difference? I think we can make a difference with collaboration. We can create platforms where we learn and we share. Those platforms, we can have open learning resources where our teachers will have become more integrated and create environments for better achievement. We can also improve our systems, our processes, and develop sustainable solutions for our children and our students. Schools and educators, I think, is our responsibility to do what's best for our children and our students. So I will conclude with 2 points. Utilizing technology in classroom is less of a choice, but more of a responsibility. As educators, we are mentors, and we know it means that we have the obligation to prepare our children for the challenges of being digital native. Navigating this digital water requires practice. That's why it's our responsibility as educators to provide these children with opportunity to develop digital skills for them to become lifelong and independent learners. If you're not leveraging on technology in your school now, and maybe you're not doing anything, I think you're putting yourself in a much more compromising position in a most competitive, changing world. My nieces in UK are learning. So if Nigeria says we are not, government says we are not on third term, the world has moved on. No one is waiting for us. So school owners, you can't say you have to move on with the world. Now we are talking about, you could be also be asking me what happened to Mama Nkechi, what happened to Margaret Thatcher. Well, Mama Nkechi noticed that after a while, that her students were no more coming as before, but they were also going to the computer lab to get their projects done. She was optimistic. She was like, wow, they will return after a while. See those young boys at the computer lab. They cannot compete with over 20 years expertise. Sadly, she was wrong, and after a while, we no more saw her with her kiosk and her typewriter. Thankfully, the lady that we call Margaret Thatcher realized her only option was to quickly align with the new norm by doing a crash course for those computer boys and learning, and she quickly learned how to operate the computer. The question we should be asking ourselves today as educators is, do we want to be a Mama Nkechi, a Margaret Thatcher, or a Fola Adiola? Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Can we, okay, hello, you can hear me. Thank you very much, Ifechi. That was interesting. The way you rounded it up, I couldn't help but laugh. So would you want to be Margaret Thatcher, Mama Nkechi, or I wonder why you brought Fola Adiola into the mix? Well, I guess that's because the GT Bank and the old tally number system. Well, okay. But before Fola Adiola, there was Diamond Bank as well. I think he started the innovation, if I'm not wrong. Okay, thank you very much. That was really very interesting. I kept nodding. If you were watching me, I kept nodding on and on. Why? Because he said a lot of things. And one thing that rings out through all this is the need for collaboration. If you ask me, I think that moving on and away from on to higher things is spelled as COLL, collaboration, and on. That's the way to go. That is the new thing we have to do. And there's no better way to collaborate than to have 80 participants listening